For me, grime means like, underground, culture.
It's something that my friends all MCs and you could relate to it, like USA music that's them in it, that's what they listen to. The slang was what I was listening to, the people look like us, dressed like us, the image was a big thing.
I've been asked that question before. I always liken it to how punk was in the 70s, but it was very much, just like grime, it's very much do it yourself. There's very much a punk ethos to it as well. There's many similarities with punk as well. It's a downtrodden music as well, just like punk was. So that's what I like it to. That's the short answer.
It was a London product, but it got embraced here because there's big MCs from here. Obviously, at that time, Shifty was massive, and unfortunately, what happened to him? Because had that not happened to him, I think he would be where Bugsy is now, even bigger. Like Shifty was the guy. Like he was, because there was always that stigma on Manchester artists, like Londoners didn't fuck with Manchester artists like that, but Shifty seemed to be able to break barriers, you feel me? And I really think he would have went to the mountaintop had he not had the accident not had happened to him.
Check how I started, yo, I said of course I'm ahead of these guys, lyrical cocaine. How they gonna better these lines, too much content, got a very deep mind and my flow's like leather jeans tight. And when it comes to ladies, I told a girl whatever she likes, let a man think whatever he likes. If there's a day where referee hypes, I whip out the blade like Wesley Snipes.
Like the UK's hip hop. Like how hip hop came up in the Bronx and shit in New York, with man just in a basement, fucking spinning 2 decks, repeating a James Brown loop to get a beat and then just shelling it. That's what I see grime as, but for London. Like that's our thing in it. Like how them man have hip hop, that's their home. Grime is our home. Come kind of naturally because of where I grew up. Like growing up in London and East London and South London, like moving back and forth through those ends just kind of gave me a foot into the culture straight away. So it was only, I guess it was destined for me to fall in love with grime at that time, especially because my older brother as well was like friends with all these different people like Dot Rotten and Big Shiz and Little Rascals and all these different grime MCs at the time. It was like just part of my life. Say Manchester artists don't support each other the same way London artists do. London artists will, like if a man in your ends is hard, you man are going to link up and make a tune in it, even if it don't even have to be local artists. You see it like the way Nine's linked up with SO and his new album. Them man support each other in it. But here, like I'll name drop in it. Let's say man like Gecko, man like Bogsy, man like Just Banco, all of these guys who are finding some sort of establishment in the Manchester scene. I don't see them looking down at anyone in the Manchester scene and being like, yo, these man are hard, I'm getting my name up, let me just post them on my story or whatever. Like, them ones.
But I don't watch all the indirects. True say man might see me as a threat, I don't mind going out as a legend as long as I'm known as Manchester's best. So
over the last couple years, only now we're finding a scene. London's had a scene for a long time, and that's why they have A&Rs in their city and they have all these different corporations supporting the artists in London. But Manchester's only building a scene now. And it's been like 4 or 5 years, I would say, of it building, and you can already see the way it's bubbling up in it. So I would say in another 5, 10 years, it would be where London was at, like when Skepta got shot down and that.
Come to my day, I should call you brave. I'm counting your love, I'm popping away. I saw the sky, to the fall of my face, then I'll be replaced. I watch you decay.
I mean, London is definitely bigger and more well connected, and like one person could spot you and it's like that's your break. But what I think the difference between Manchester and London is that in Manchester everybody cares about each other, and like once you win the respect of your peers, then you kind of all bring each other up together. And I'm not sure where that's going to end up, but everybody can kind of feel it like a movement coming, like somehow Manchester's going to start to take the lead in front of London. But obviously I didn't grow up in London, so I don't know what the community's like there, but I've been to London a couple of times and seen their drive, and their kind of community is inspiring. So
I liken this like hip hop in America, like started in New York, started in the Bronx, and then everywhere else kind of didn't really get that shine because it was like New York's thing. Same thing with grime, it started in London and they were the first ones to do it, and plus London is the capital city as well. Manchester's like the 3rd biggest city in the country. No one really gives a shit about the 3rd biggest anything. And I think because it started there, I'm not going to say it's elitist, but it's their thing. you know. So I think that's pretty much what it was really. We had to kind of earn our stripes like in our own way, in our own time, with our own people.
Well, people say it derives from down south. I beg to differ. Do you know what I mean?
Why do you beg to differ?
Because we had a big drum and bass scene and jungle, and we're in the north. You know, Trigger. You had Bassman from the Midlands and stuff like that. You've got places like, I know people don't like identify it as the same thing, but like Wigan. You know, you had Wigan Pier. That kind of, you know, kind of music, and we essentially you're talking about, we had one of the biggest club in the world, which was the Hacienda. So when it comes down to like that kind of tech, dance, house, grime, you know what I mean, bassline, whatever, you know, for me it originated up north.
I started spitting officially 2 years ago, so 2016. But my older brother, he used to MC and spit bars as well. So as an older brother who you look up to, you try to follow in their footsteps and take on their traits in it. So he sat me down one day and said, listen, you're not leaving this room until you write me a mean 8-bar or a 16. And I remember my first bar was something like, and it's F to the O, every man, you know, get your girl as a whole. It's stupid bars, bro. Anyway, over time I just kept getting into grime music. He would show me artists in grime as well. So I was just following the scene from the beginning of like Lord of the Mics, Fuck Radio, so many platforms. And eventually I started to get into it. And
louder hating, faking. I'm just trying to make dough, get caking. Till all the man them's bathing. Money on trees, so you know I'm raking. Hey, yo, walk one, what you saying?
Energy, bro. Energy. I'm an active and an energetic person. Whenever I talk with passion, and whatever I do with passion. Passion slides with energy, you know what I'm saying? It's alongside each other. See you later. So yeah, it was just energy. I'm an active guy, like I'm always up and about. And whenever I do perform as well, it's just energy. Even if the song is talking about depressive stuff. Oh, you know what I'm saying? But I just think grime, the up tempo, the disgusting beats, the bass on it, and yeah, just the energy, bro. I think music can be made in any sort of concept, any sort of content, and any way that you wish to do it. People can label music however they wish to. I just feel like grime for me is just energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be about violence. It can be political points. It can be talk about mental illness. It can just be someone having fun and spitting pure jokes, you know what I'm saying? And then you've got the violent side of things as well. But I feel like the violent side of things, I don't think there's any bad intentions to harm or hurt people. I just feel like, you know, I'll tell you from my perspective, there's some violent bars that I say in my lyrics, that's just a reflection of our reality, that's it. There's no intention to do harm to anyone or make anyone act a certain way because of the music. But that's my take on it, bro. It's just, I think it's more, does the grime make the context or the context makes the grime? It's a good question, man. I think it's a share bit of both, man, because grime is underground, not so much say ignorant music, but it's very aggressive and energetic. It can come across that way, but it's all with good intentions and just fun, you know what I'm saying? So it's a bit of both, bro. I don't think it's one way or the other.
It's not the most lyrical. It's definitely not the most. I'm not saying there's not lyrical people in there, but to me, it's not like, I'm not listening to grime to get blown away by the lyrics. Like when you watch battle rap as well. Like the reason I like battle rap so much is because I hear someone say something, I'm like, wait, let me rewind that. Screw the face and then rewind that because it makes you think. Well, I like grime too, innit? Like I'm a grime kid, so just hearing D-Double go, ooh, that's fire, innit? He deserves a reload for that. I'm not saying it's not right. I'm just saying flows, moties, and that type of thing. And if you catchy, if you can get a crowd sing-alongs, smashed it.
Particularly with this genre of music, with grime, people have this preconception of like that the lifestyle that comes with it is rough and you have to be rowdy and tough to kind of do it. But like one thing that particularly opened my eyes is because coming from the outside, because I'm not a grime artist, whether I like it or not, I did have that subconscious kind of bias. And then I met a grime artist, and this person, like Black Ice, he completely just flipped that. You know what I mean? He was polite. He was more polite than most other people I've met, and I think it's just silly to kind of associate a genre with a particular lifestyle, because I mean, people singing blues these days aren't cotton picking in the fields. They're just normal people. Do you know what I mean? So the genre is independent of someone's lifestyle. It's just if it fills that criteria of music, then you have a right to do it, I think.
But it depends on your life you live in. Storms, you can't talk about what we were talking about 5 years ago. So it's just life changing it. Yeah, because it's a problem because the young kids can't relate to them. But it's not a problem because it's going to make you living and make you money from it. But your fan base is going to change, isn't it? You might have to more upper class fan base rather than if you're born in Brixton or you're born in Marseille, that fan base might go. But I don't think it's a problem. I just think it's progression, isn't it? I went with my friend to the Wiley concert, and if we would have gone to a Wiley concert 15 years ago, we just hoods up, weed smoking, it's like student. It's just a student. This time it was like last year or 2 years ago, whatever. Just a student vibe. But it's good. It's got a sell on it. People need to make a living out of it, so you can't stop the same. I didn't buy music. We didn't just used to copy it and stuff. So you're going to people now that will buy your music or stream it. Like, we might not stream it, but someone in Winslow or wherever, they're gonna stream it, aren't they?
Yo, told you back for the next tune. I make tracks to be fucking next tune. Tell on the road to be something. I live without holes and we to the bedroom. Step one. Y'all got a life from that 10 one. Fuck you small bars than the next one. If I don't, then I might go back. Call up my enemy. Wait up for the step one. Freeze. I don't do those. Get beat. Grow up in South London. That's South Fully God. How can you tell me about street? As I'm pleased. The half your favourite rappers. You never ever tell me about me. I don't ever chance in your life. You will never be grieved. Gang, 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 no gang.
I'd say Skepta is my biggest influence when it comes to the grunge garments and stuff, but he's not the influence that fully, he's not the origin of that influence. So as a child I grew up listening to a lot of rock bands like Linkin Park and Paramore and Coldplay and all these different bands in it, and it brought like as I got called in high school, like the bounty side out of me, and like man was saying, oh, you get me? So I couldn't express that in high school, but then when I left, I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna wear these chains that these rock stars are wearing, I'm gonna wear all of that because it feels me.
Do you have any olders in you, man?
Like personally, my older brother, Alexander Knight, who, yeah, he makes grime right now. He put me onto grime fully, like.
Is his style the same or is he strictly tracksuit, baseball cap?
I'd say yeah, he's more grime because he's older and he got like foot in deep into that culture. Like you'll catch him if he was to walk down the street right now, he'll be wearing night trackies with 95s on, and he would just look like a London roadman.
Grime's used as a platform to move to a rapper, and that people think it's do 2 years, get my name out and move on. But Grime's acceptable, man. I watched a Jammer interview and they basically said the same thing, like people are jumping on Grime just to get the name up. It's popular in the youth, with the youth in it, and people move on. Like you're saying, it's not accepted, but I think Wiley's still nearly 40, and he's not lost any respect, has he? So Wretch is of age for it gets he's probably 29, 30, you know what I mean? Just people's perception, snobbery. Like coming to venues and booking a venue as us and saying we're doing a grind, like people are like, nah, I don't want to do it, I don't want to touch it. But then when you put it on, the atmosphere is good, everyone mingles. No one wants to destroy it anymore. I think years ago it was a bit aggressive, and now people just want a good time, don't they, when they go out? I think, yeah.
Because for me, when I grew up, it was about the DJ, not necessarily the MC. I know it's changed around a little bit, but to me, it's the DJ has the dub, the MC smashes it. It just depends. I don't mind having a vast amount of MCs going over a beat that I'm rinsing. I don't like to produce my own beats. I like to play everyone, who's got a different beat from, different areas and stuff like that. But there were those who, some MCs like may like particular DJs and producers kind of grind beats. If you're talking about me personally, the reason why I DJ, this is what I'm talking about. The reason why I DJ is because I feel that I can give and produce opportunities for unsigned underground artists, urban, whatever you want to call it, and when they get, I'm one of them DJs. It's not. I don't play necessarily the popular tune, or like, I'm not going to name any artists in particular. If you get me in a club, I don't DJ in clubs at this moment. You get me in a club, I'm going to be playing a banger. Do you know what I mean? Which I believe that the underground scene are saying, listen, this person is not necessarily a tune that I favour, even though I do like tunes. I don't operate that way. I just like to provide opportunities for the unsigned artists.
Getting a reload, bruv. Like Future said, sensational. Bruv, it's no. On a real, I feel like it's for me, it's a feeling of you know, like when you set yourself an objective to then achieve an aim or a goal, and you actually achieve it. It's that same euphoric feeling for me. So I feel like it's like a pat on the back. That was good what you did there. You deserve this. You get to say it again so people can hear it properly this time. You know what I'm saying? But no, getting a reload is sick, bro. It's always a pleasure. I get reloads regardless.
Yeah, of course.
So because I can be talented, but getting a reload, yeah, bro. When you get like 3 in a row, you just put the mic down and walk out. That's what I do, bro. Fuck it. I ain't spitting no more. Job's done. I'm done. Caught a body. I don't want to get arrested. I'm gone. It's a good feeling, bro. It's a good feeling. Yeah, man.
It's very gratifying because like you sit at home and you write these bars, you put effort into them. At least if you're like me and you write, like you put a lot of energy into those lyrics. To get a reload is like the ultimate satisfaction, bro. Because it's like, rah, these came out of my head. Now I'm here on this stage, and all these people love it that much that they said, yo, fuck that, say it again. You get me? So I love that, man.
Getting a reload's great, innit? It's not. How explicit can we be on this? Because it's for uni. Can I be very explicit? It's not like busting a nut, but it's underneath, innit? Like, that's how the cameraman's laughing. That's what it's like, innit? It's not busting a nut, but it's underneath, innit? Like, it's a getting a reload is the greatest thing, innit? Especially when you're, because that was me, like, in youth clubs, like, getting it for, and it's getting a taste for it, innit? Once you get that, like, once you bust your first nut, you want to bust more, innit? Reloads is the same thing, innit? Like, once you get one reload, you want to get more reloads, innit?
I go off the crowd, man. Listen, believe me, I played a live cypher, man. It was my first one, and you know, the crowd was reasonable, man. I was nervous, man. I was playing with no headphones or anything, and I mean, I was just dropping in the dubs, and I just seen the crowd go, oh, when the crowd went, oh. Yeah. And then the MC, then the MC keeps going. Sometimes the MC will do it, but sometimes you drop the dub, the crowd will go, oh, and then when they drop there, some MCs have punchlines, some MCs have, you know, particular lyrics. Sometimes it's what I like to call a dynamic duo, or sometimes it's a wolf pack reaction, like from the crowd and the MC and the DJ. It's just like it's bim 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 boom, kick it back in. Man, I'm telling you, man, you can see the thing when I'm like reload, I'm like listen, do you know what I mean? Like it's just that feeling, it's a buzz. It's success. Yeah. As a DJ, you have to crowd monitor. Any DJ will tell you that.
These platforms are crazy because, again, it's one video that's uploaded online by one click. Everyone can see, you know, the talent that the artist is trying to showcase. But yeah, I think it's much more better than pirate radio. Pirate radio was the good old days, but it's much more better because there's no fear, there's no hiding behind the camera, there's no running away from anything that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that'll hurt you. So yeah, no, these platforms are much more better, man. I mean, I believe in building your own foundation and working on your own craft and getting it to the level that you want to be, if you believe. So I feel like I'm gonna upload my stuff on my channel, but there will be times where I'll go to those platforms and get the assist. You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, music, love grime, love rap, UK wise. I went to an event that my friend put on, and it was crap, but I had good artists on. So I thought there's kind of a niche for something if it's publicised and promoted properly. Then, and it's might have started to put on an event. Didn't have no other future plans. That was it. I wanted to put on an event, and that was just walk away. Then the feedback was good. Started doing interviews, like I said, to with artists, and just picked on and carried on. Kinda started on 2 of us. The Andrew, that was the host, Righteous, and Leon. Then, as you see now, it's like an 8-9 man team. We're kind of all friends anyway. Apart from Flawless, who came in late through radio and stuff, we've all kind of gone to school together or chilled in the same areas together. It's just kind of been a natural. Everyone loves the same music.
Like pirate radio is kind of like the SoundCloud and that of today, really. You know what I'm saying? Like where man, there's no control over it. Man can just do what they want, upload when they want. and whoever wants to listen can listen. I think radio is definitely going to die out as time goes by unless they make some sort of innovation that takes it to some next level. But I think the way it's going right now, all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music are deading off radio. Because even got Apple Radio in it, you can go on your phone, listen to the radio on your phone, on Apple Music. So
Have you had any?
I was meant to do a black box at some point, but like, I feel my image personally is just a little bit different to most people in it. At least I know that actually because it's my vision. So the way that I want to put myself out to the world and be perceived, I feel black box would kind of dilute my image in some sort of way. And I'm trying to hit like different heights that no one's really hit yet.
That image, are you on about like when they feed into stereotypes?
A little bit, yeah.
So what do you think they do to feed into those stereotypes?
I don't think the platform's intended to do it. It's just a matter of fact of them trying to support kids from the ends. And you know, music is an outlet of emotion. It's a way of expressing yourself. These kids come into these studios and rap about what they're seeing, what they're going through, and then that's how you get the stereotype, because all of them are seeing this shit, and you just got a bunch of kids, freestyle after freestyle, rapping about the same shit, looking the same, because they're getting them from the same place, you get me? So
now, like, Bugsy smashing it is in like the charts, you know what I mean? Like, so, and it helps that he was screaming Money on the Map, because people who went from Money are shouting that, and everyone's thinking, what's Money on the Map? Like, obviously then they're checking out Manchester now.
Manchester scene, I think it's massive, I think it's large. You've got Premier League battles, you've got Mic Check Media UK, you've got multiple platforms in terms of radio. I'm not going to mention the radio names, I don't plug radio names, but you understand what I'm saying, don't you? That are out there and they're across. You've got use of the internet, FM.
Easily level to blow them, isn't it?
It's just, there's no excuse. There's so many platforms.
Yeah, you know what, guys, do you. There ain't no one else out there like you. You know, there are people out there that are like you in certain ways, but it's just you alone. No one else out there like you. Do you, that cannot be replicated or duplicated.